You're listening to the SoulShape Podcast, where we focus on your spiritual fitness, or what we like to call your energetic self-care. We're sisters and the co-founders of SoulShape, a quantum wellness app designed to make it easier and accessible to find healing practitioners in the energy healing world, and the soon-to-be Soul Gym. We want to have soulful conversations about spirituality and wellness, and whether you are dabbling or taking a deep dive into energy healing, we want to introduce modalities and healing practitioners to you one by one. So it's time to get into SoulShape. My name is LJ Woodard, and this is my sister, Leslie Bennett. And Leslie, who are we talking with today?
Oh my God, I am so excited. I love this topic. Can't even tell you.
I knew you'd like this one.
So we have Sheri Perbeck, and we're going to be talking about how to be open and connect to your angels and the importance in changing perspectives. So welcome, Sheri.
And I'm going to give a little background about Miss Sheri here. Sheri is a spiritual psychic medium, an angel practitioner and healer, and she just also created a deck of angel cards that we're going to talk about too, that are available for you to purchase on her website. And her intention is that these angel cards bring tremendous peace and solace to people's lives. She says that by consciously inviting these angels into your life, you will never feel alone, and the transformative power of their presence is bound to positively impact and change your life. Isn't that lovely?
It is. Her cards are amazing. I got to look at it. You want to start?
Well, I mean, if this is how angel readings and angel cards, how they can, what do you call it, change your perspective and open yourself and connect more. I'd love to hear all about it. Where do you want to begin, Sheri? How do you want to just? That's a big question.
Where do you begin?
Yes.
Well, let me start by a little background of what happened to me. A little quick story. My father, he got sick and he passed away sort of suddenly. And though I would see things growing up, I really didn't know what was going on. But my dad, I would go to my father and he would know. And so he would help me through that. But it wasn't until my late 30s when I lost my father that I really began to understand what was happening. Mm-hmm. He helped me from the other side where I met healers and mediums. And I just instinctively knew that I was a medium once I met one. It was like, oh, I can do that. I've been doing that for a long time. But, So shortly afterward, I met the first angel that I work with still to this day, who is Archangel Michael. Mm-hmm. A lot of people know Michael as Saint Michael as well. So shortly afterward, I couldn't run fast enough down this path once I realized what was happening. And the more I learned from mentors, and so I learned very quickly as a human how great I was at playing the victim, as a lot of us do.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And because, we feel powerless, a lot of humans, and that's where that victimhood comes from. It's frustration, depression, anxiety. So when I realized that I didn't have to live my life like this, it's really sad to live as a victim.
Yeah.
You find no joy in anything. You will find an excuse to sabotage yourself and others. That's just the way it is. So one of the things with the angels that I love the most about them is that they love to teach us and they love to share knowledge, and I'll tell you what, if they can get a smile out of you, for an hour of the day or 5 minutes in a day, if that's all you can give, they're your biggest cheerleaders. They really are. So one of the things that they've taught me that I think is really important that we talk about today is how they can help you to change your perception when it comes to staying out of judgment and becoming the observer. Now, that's not easy to do, but
Right.
you can do it.
Yeah.
It starts with recognizing when you are in judgment. And so I tell people, I always like starting new things in the morning when I wake up. It's a fresh start, right? So when your feet hit the floor, pay attention to what your mind is saying, that mind chatter.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll quickly realize that it's very negative. Even in the best of us, it's negative because we have that ego that actually keeps us here and keeps us grounded.
Mm-hmm.
We do need it, but that doesn't mean we have to have that point of view all the time, right? So when you have those negative talks or just words in your mind, you can stop it. And it's start to become the observer. Now, I want to say this. I want to back up a minute. When it comes to, I'm losing my words now, judging.
Yeah.
We know that we've heard this a lot about judging ourselves or others, but rarely do we talk about judging our experiences, right?
Oh, that's a good one.
It's huge.
That's a good one.
It's actually life-changing if you think about it. So that's when the observer comes in. And that's when you start to just look at the experience that you're having, any given situation. You will be able to find a positive in it if you can step out of the judgment and just understand and realize that we're just having another experience of how many other experiences at the same time.
Right, like a flight cancellation. Let's not judge it.
That's right.
Take the judgment
Find
out of the
it.
experience, and it will change the whole scope of it.
It really does. And so then it becomes a trickle effect. And it in all areas of your life because you find more peace. And you will feel when you become the observer, you're going to be more grounded, more calm, and more connected to the soul that you have.
I just found a new goal. I want to be the observer so bad.
I love that. It's
Just-
a goal.
I know. I just would love to be more of an observer.
That's wonderful.
Mhm.
I so love that.
I like that. I'm going to write that down. Go ahead, talk.
Yeah, it's the Archangel Sophia taught me this. And a lot of people know Sophia as Mother God. She's a big deal. She's
Yeah.
literally the feminine aspect of God. First time I saw her, I had a client come in, I was doing a reading, and her head was really elongated. And come to find out, she had been talking to me for a couple of years, but I actually thought it was my guardian angel. Okay? But it wasn't. It's Sophia.
Sophia.
So, Sophia, and I want your listeners to hear this because I'm really excited about being here today for this very reason. For people to start calling these angels in. Many of them are unemployed. They need jobs because of free will. You got to ask them.
Right. So this is a question that I've been wanting to ask. Because as people start to get connected and we see little signs,
Yep.
we judge it.
Yep.
It's random.
See? Yep.
Or you can welcome it and say,
Yep.
observe it.
Right.
This is interesting. And it might make me smile because sometimes you'll see those repeating numbers
Yep.
or
Yep.
there's been days where I get the same word
Yes.
that
Mhm.
comes up.
Right.
And you're like, why is that word coming
animal
up in
that's
every
always appearing.
conversation?
Yep.
Or the animal.
An animal.
Or, so what would be your advice or
Yep.
sageness towards being in that, as we said at the beginning of the hour here, that openness? How can we get through that or for that I'm not
Okay.
asking the question right, but
No,
you get me.
No, I totally understand, and that's probably number one question that I get asked all the time. First, look, there's 3 things that I felt God gave me years ago to help people with this. And one of the topics was the imagination. And I remember thinking, the imagination? So, God, you want me to make up things for people?
That's
And
not a problem.
Right. It wasn't, but that's not the
Yeah.
point of it. The point is everything outside of this realm of existence is a higher vibration than here, right?
Yep.
Okay,
I'm
then.
totally down with that.
So you cannot make up something that doesn't already exist. God communicates with us and all his helpers through our imagination. So we underestimate the power of the imagination. So let's say this. we know very little. So therefore, if you start to see, I had 4 blue jays, just to give you an example one day. I said prayers the night before, and I said, God, I need an answer on this. So the next day, go outside and have my coffee, and 4 blue jays. And we're talking blue jays. They can be a little snappy, And they came around my sitting area, which is not a very big area. And I knew that they were sent for my message. So I said, okay, God, you guys, the birds, can one of you start singing to let me know if this is a sign? One of them literally started chirping loud. So I go, okay, just one more, and then I'll stop questioning. Can one of you fly to this tree that's really close to me? And it did. It landed on the tree. So you have to move past the ego and just say to yourself, I think this is a sign and I'm going to take it. And why the hell not? Because it's your life. You don't have to go out there and share with the world. Hey, guess what? I think, God talked to me last night, or Archangel Michael came to me last night. In fact, I would say to everybody, only share with like-minded people, because you don't want somebody peeing on your rainbow. You know what I mean? It's you don't want to do. You don't want society to take that away from you. Trust me, it's worth just. And here's the other thing. God and the angels, they talk to us through our own shorthand. We all have our own shorthand, right? Our own personality, and our brain, our knowledge, our experiences. We're like a walking, notebook. So these angels know how to communicate with you as an individual. And in fact, they will even change form if you end up seeing them to suit you. Because the last thing they want to do is bring up any fear at all. Like the first time I met Michael really scared me because his energy came in so huge and I wasn't used to it. My whole body was shaking, and there was this big white orb that came up over my head, down my whole body because I was on the couch. And then my ear popped like I was in an airplane. And it felt so good because when you're a medium and you are getting ready to use that gift, your head feels like it's in a vice. And mine had been, This was before I really started using it. So when that popped, I felt this great release. And then I heard Michael say hello to me. And it was during the night, and I said, hello, but I'm really afraid you can go back in the morning. He did. And I learned how to work with him. And he, I don't want to say learned how to work with me, but I guess you can say that. And we've been working together ever since. But it's in my special way. You know what I mean?
I do. In fact, as you were telling your story about the 4 blue jays, I got a little emotional because you can sort of sense I was still there. Shortly after my husband died, it's maybe not shortly, it was over a year. I'm sitting on the beach in San Diego, and I'm just sort of talking to him. And I said, if you're hearing this, I'd love a sign, like maybe a heart cloud. And I didn't see it that day, but I went down to the beach the next day. And all of a sudden, I looked up, and I'm like, is that a heart cloud up there? And does that heart cloud have a smiley face in it?
Yep.
And that's when I knew. I sat there for a while just contemplating that, like, oh my God, they heard, he heard.
Yes.
And made some, he would always make me laugh.
Yeah.
So that was the thing.
That's
I
why
didn't
he
take
did
a
that.
picture until it like sort of stretched out a little bit, but
Yeah.
I have that picture.
Oh my God, it's beautiful.
So, yeah. So
It's so powerful, Leslie.
So it's one of those things that
It
you
is.
question.
You do, because it's not the norm, right?
Exactly.
But you knew in your heart
I did
that
know.
it was him.
I did know. And that's when I sort of went from questioning
To opening.
to opening that channel
accepting.
and
Yep.
accepting it. So
Yep.
that's why I think this is such an important topic for everyone,
Oh my God, it is.
that being open to that
Yep.
and being able to receive it
Yep.
and not judge it. I don't tell many people about that story, although now I've told the world, but
Yep.
and that's okay.
Yep.
Um,
And that'll help you too.
yeah.
This coming out and not being afraid really to let people know that you're okay with your truth,
Yeah.
more and more people, have a lot of this experiences that don't share. But the more of us that come out and say, you don't have to believe it, this is what happened,
Yeah.
the more people are coming out
And
saying,
we'll normalize it.
yes,
And
and
that's,
it is happening.
yes, I know that because I share, that share particularly has been very personal. There's
Sure.
other stories.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I got so emotional as you're telling the Jays, because I just went straight to that memory thought
Yeah.
and,
Yep.
and just felt like I needed to share that.
Sure.
So-
And that was a big deal for me with the birds. What I was asking God about was really deep prayer. So, you could be picking up my energy of that, such a special moment that it was for me. And I want to tell you really quick, I had a dog draw in the clouds while I was doing a Zoom reading. Dog, DOG. And I looked up, and I'm not talking to her dog at this point. I'm talking to like her mom, her in spirit. And I looked, put my head down. After all these years, put my head down. And I said, okay, now you're making stuff up. So I looked back up again, and I was like, ma'am, do you have a dog that you love very much that just passed? Yes. I mean, it was right there.
Yeah.
I've had an angel form a wing with birds, the little black birds that always fly together.
Mm-hmm.
I was in prayer with Sophia, driving my car on the way home, talking to her, thanking her for helping my clients. I look up at the light, and massive group of birds. And I'm looking, and I'm like, oh, my God. They actually formed one wing right down to the point. It was Sophia.
Wow.
It was Sophia.
I love these stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, I couldn't take my eyes off of it, and I was trying to grab from my phone, but I
Right.
ran out of time, and I just absorbed it for myself.
For sure.
Yes.
But the more and more we believe and open, the more these things just happen.
So, given, those were very obvious signs. Sometimes signs are not so obvious.
Yes.
What kind of guidance can you say? I keep thinking of Amy Bird, our
Yeah.
friend. I just sort of outed her. I probably shouldn't have done that. But she's someone
Hi,
who
Amy.
sees synchronicities everywhere.
Yep.
And you could take that like, oh, she's almost forcing it into, we're meeting on the 6th day of September. The 6th day is my son's birthday. And that son's, she can take those linkages, and it's fascinating. I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah.
But there would be some people, they'd be like, you're just making this up.
Yeah.
So what's your response to you're just making this up. It's a subtle sign. It's just random.
Well, let's say, first to start with, we do have a lot of work to do. Okay, like when I started learning about these angels, even to this day, I can't sit down and say, hey, Michael, what's going to happen for me next week?
No, you can't do performance
that.
on demand.
Yeah, no. But it's, you have to first, here's another topic that I teach is about the higher source, your higher self.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you really need to begin, is to learn about your spirit, your soul. You got to have this belief about yourself also, and stepping out of, listen, the negative thought with the ego is a really big deal, because if you want to work with the angels, you need to raise your vibration. They are all of love. Okay, so if we're like all negative and saying, well, tell me why I only have X, Y, and Z in my bank account.
Why can't I find a man?
Yeah, or why can't I find a man? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these are the things that need to be looked at first. The self-healing is so very important. And when you start to believe that we are more than just this human sitting here, it definitely helps in making the connection. I mean, again, it's so deep. Like, okay, the communication with the angels for me is more on the inside. I hear them. They give me visuals. So everything for me with them, now, have I heard their voices? Yes. But my daily communication with them all comes from within. So I've done a lot of self-healing, through the years, a lot.
Yep.
And we all can. And now we have access to lots of information. There's so many books, your podcasts, that can get us on that journey. But it takes time. It's one step. It really is just one step at a time. But you got to create this protection around yourself of that. We just know there's more. And here's the other thing. I like this one a lot.
Okay, good.
Okay. People will say, I have to see for me to believe.
Yeah.
And I say, okay, do you believe in Jesus? I do. Well, have you seen Jesus? No. And trust me, I don't take Jesus lightly. I mean, I could tell you some stories about Jesus. I love Jesus. I believe in him, and he heads the angels. I've seen him. He heads the archangels. He's in my deck of cards. I mean, I'm telling you, but you just have to believe and not need the acceptance of
Or the proof.
others or the proof.
Yeah.
You'll get it. Mm-hmm. You'll definitely get it. But it's that inner faith, our spirit that we have, that gut that knows if something's off or not. And that's really what you got to start listening to. That's why meditation is really important.
Yeah.
It really is. It doesn't have to be an hour long. It could be 5 minutes. I tell people to take 3 deep breaths 3 times a day for 5 minutes.
That's a good start.
It is.
It's a great start.
It's enough to quiet the mind,
I like. Oh, go ahead, Leslie. I feel like I interrupted you.
No, I was just going to say, while you see them, feel them, I get them. I get them energetically, and I get them through. How best to describe this? It's through a level of emotion, because all of a sudden I will feel open and love, or I will. And I can sense that there's different octaves and of each of these vibrations.
Yeah.
And even driving, because some of it will be super high, and I was on the phone with someone, and I was driving, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm feeling something. It was just a different in temperance, my own temperance.
Yeah.
Is that the right word? And so that's how I feel it. So if there's people that are questioning that, I think there's multiple ways to experience the angels.
Sure. Yeah.
So anyway, Laura,
No,
you
I
were
was
going
going
to
to say,
ask.
well, to add on to that too, because I feel like you're just always honest about the feeling. Like if you feel it, and feelings are honest, right? You can't deny feelings. I mean, we did a meditation. Was it just yesterday? No, a few days ago on Wednesday, and we're dropping in. We're doing this group meditation. Leslie and I are like, okay, right. And our father just passed in March, and she's like, oh, like I'm really settling in. She goes, oh, by the way, Dad's here, and like. She just does this to me, and like I'm the kind of I'm like what? Like I wanted to. Should we say something? I don't know. I don't feel him, but like Leslie does that to me, and it becomes kind of funny. But at the same time, I'm like, but she's probably right. But then I'm like, okay, where is he? Is he standing? Actually, then my mind starts to go. Is he meditating with us? Is he sitting? Is he in that chair? Is he laying down? Then I'm like, okay, just stop.
Yeah.
But it just becomes. I don't know. Sometimes the word playful comes to mind with all this stuff. It's whether, and I hate to say just stuff, but like. Mystical experiences and these practices and modalities. I mean, if you can start from a playful state, that's a great start. And I know a lot of people probably come to see you after maybe losing someone.
Yep. Yep.
I would imagine that might be the majority.
Quite often. Yes. Yep. Majority of the readings it is. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. And it took me years to be okay with that, because I get a lot of mothers who have lost their children, and at first I couldn't do it. I would be I would feel their pain, and it would just I could see their children, but I couldn't make the communication because I had to learn how to step out of that. That's the empath.
Yep.
In me and in you. What you're experiencing. But once I learned how to separate that, I was way better off. But yeah, it's a tough one. I get them all the time too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you've got cards? You've got angel cards?
I do, yes.
Tell us about your angel cards.
Okay.
And they're beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Oh my God, super beautiful.
Well, I am really excited about these cards, and I'll tell you why. I have really been feeling such importance to get people to talk to angels, to call them in. I mean, it's been really big. Now, look, I've been doing what we call angel speak for years, and that's groups where I channel the angels to people, probably for 11 years now. And, I make candles also. They're on hold right now because I'm changing the label and all that. But so I have been really trying to encourage people to do this for a long time because they will help you to transform your life, right? So I had a friend come over one day and she made these cards and I said, oh, I think I can do that. I think I'm going to do that. She's like, well, do it. I go, okay. And so I did. And so, I just love them. And every deck is prayed and blessed over, as well as my candles were always the same. And I just hope that people use them and really see. I think to help us and remind us to stay in it every day. That's why I always liked groups or podcasts because it helps to remind us how to stay in living our human life through spirituality every day. Because if we don't have that type of support, we can go back into the old ways.
Yeah, go back to being numb or back to
Right.
just being on that hamster wheel.
Yep. So that's why I'm so excited about the cards. So I just, it's very simple, and they're in the booklet here, how simplicity is the key to using these. I tell people to pull 3 cards a day, and they are 12 archangels and a Jesus card. And each angel and Jesus has a main card. So if you pull the main card, that's the angel you might want to work with for that day or that week. And it'll tell you about the angels. So you get to know the angels. And in the booklet, there are prayers to invoke them and meditation. So,
That's wonderful.
and, like I said, it's free will. So asking them to come in to help you is, it's key. There's so many different types of angels. The ones that I communicate with are archangels. And then you just practice, be quiet, getting quiet within the body and paying attention to your visuals that you're getting and your thoughts, because they love to communicate this way.
Yep. So I'm in crises, say, and I'm going to I'm looking for anything. I'm desperate, right? I'm
Yep.
just, my life's chaotic, whatever.
Yep.
And so I pull 3 cards.
Yep.
And I may not believe, but I'm desperate. I'm going to try anything.
Try it.
I'm going to try, may not believe.
Yep.
But I'm going to try.
Yep.
What would I expect at that level of vibration?
I think
Or is
that
maybe expectation's not the right word here.
Expectation?
Yeah.
I think that, first of all, words are really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And everything in here is meant to be inspiring. Okay? So I think when we get into that place of where we need to surrender, where we're at a point where we cannot physically make a change on our own. Sometimes I think it's just these specific words that give us hope.
Yes.
It's hope that we need in really any given situation, right? And I mean, if you're looking at a card with an angel on it, right? And some of them don't have the angels on them. They're like this one here. This is Zidkiel. There's a man and his dog, right? It's just, it's sweet.
The
And-
angel of mercy and forgiveness.
He's quite an incredible angel, Zidkiel.
Mm.
Big time. This one here is forgiveness. Let's see. When you're inspired, I got to put my
Yeah, put your eyes
Glasses
on.
on.
Here we go.
We
Yeah.
all need those eyes at this
I-
certain age.
We're inspired. We feel a sense of motivation, purpose, and enthusiasm towards our goals and passions. This angel in particular, for me, when I communicate with him and he comes in for you, it's about business. I want to tell you all about your angel that came in today.
We'll take that. What?
Okay, so
Any message there?
yes,
I
So,
can't wait.
It's Shamuel.
Like I'm on the end of my seat. Oh, humor?
Nope, her name is Archangel Shamuel.
Oh, Shamuel.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is this is Shamuel's first time with me coming into an interview. I mean, I've been communicating with her for years, for like groups, but I mean like a podcast. The lead speaker is what I'm trying to spit out.
Mhm.
Okay, so she showed me she was in here, and she's really happy with you both because what you are forming are friendships. You're forming friendships, lifelong friendships, and you're bringing the community together. And wherever you go, because you will be traveling evidently with this, and you will be bringing practitioners together from each community. And this is such a big deal because we are human and we do have the ego, and there can be a lot of jealousy, competition, but there's really no room for that in this realm. And if you are a practitioner of spirituality,
A true practitioner.
that's right.
Yeah.
There's no room for that.
Right.
And so she's really happy about what you're doing because that's what you guys are doing. You're pulling friendships together.
She's right on. Isn't she, Leslie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's right on.
Yeah. No, we totally believe in abundance for all philosophy. When you win, we all win, right?
Yep.
Because right now we are moving from these conversations would be on the fringe, and they would be judged as woo-woo crazy out there.
Yep.
But we're all seeing and experiencing the shift of like people wanting the connection within ourselves and within our angels or guides or whoever.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great time. And I should tell you that just so how right on this conversation is, we are bringing Soul Gym, and that's our main thing. And we were going to go on the road and create this mobile
A pop-up.
Pop-up we want
There you go.
we want a van type of thing, those like really cool vans.
Yep.
Where we'd have sound healing, we'd have one-on-one, and
Take
we'd
them
have
to
some group
festivals
stuff,
and trade
take them to
shows.
festivals
To
to help
educate.
build our brand
Wow.
further, and then eventually get brick and mortar locations.
Yep.
But we have been talking about that, and we're about to go out to pitch to raise money for that.
Because we want to establish community through education.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
Wonderful.
yeah.
And you didn't know that. She didn't know that.
She did not know that.
She didn't
There's
know
your
that.
proof, people.
No, Shamuel knows. One of the
Shamuel.
things that has become very clear is you cannot fool spirit. You cannot fool God. You cannot fool the universe or the angels. You can fool yourself, but that's it. When it comes to this, and we do have to support ourselves. I do charge for my services. But if it's not fully within your heart that you really want to serve, and it's just about the money, you will not succeed. You will not, because you got to remember why you're doing it. What started this? And it does take remind yourself sometimes of, why am I doing this? Remind yourself, so it takes you back to that heart center and love that you have for it, and you'll fly.
Well, right. If you start from that place, you're talking about
Well, as
love.
she's talking, I'm like getting emotional
Right,
again,
it's-
just like the heart
it's our
story. But
language.
Yeah.
The money is just like the rewards. That comes naturally.
Yep.
Because like you said, if you do something you love
Yep.
and it's truly has purpose and
Yep.
it's, and you
there's an alignment.
There's a line, all those wonderful
Right.
things. The money follows.
Yeah.
Which is great.
But the peace and the gratitude that comes from being in that place of desire that you really have for it is, forget about it,
Yeah.
It's- I mean, I could sit and talk to about the angels for like hours. You know, when I come out of my she shed, sometimes I don't know what to do with myself. And I have a great life. I have, you know, married, I have family and my dog, you know, I have a great life. But when you're working with these angels, you know, you're in such a high.
Oh, it's so delicious.
Oh, isn't it? Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. Yes.
It's so delicious.
Yeah, it is.
It sounds like a great extended family you've got.
Oh,
Your
it's,
angels.
oh, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And the other thing I want to bring up too, for some reason, is the animals.
All right.
Huge. It's huge that we really don't just, you know, take a squirrel for granted or a bird or a frog. I mean, I'm telling you, it's their spirit.
Yeah.
Their spirit. They could be your uncle. They could be your dad. Visiting, because they can make manifest into physical form just for a moment for you. For real. So, you know, when people, these signs that are coming in from the animals, you know, but just believe it. Just believe it. So.
I'm like,
I'm just thinking of a story. I have a friend who talked about someone getting into a hummingbird and explained that wasn't very comfortable because of the vibration. They didn't like it very much, and I just thought that was funny.
That is funny.
Yeah.
It made him nervous because of the
No, because the spirit who went into the hummingbird, it was the vibration. They're like, oh, I come in as the hummingbird because that was their sign. They chose
I love
it.
That. Yep.
But it's difficult because of the way the bird vibrates. It's so funny.
That is funny. I never thought of that. That's a good one.
So yeah, no. So that story came to mind. Okay, so I'm tempted to ask you to pull a card.
Yeah, let's do it.
That would be a good sort of message to the listeners. And I don't want to make it personal for me.
Oh, I would love that. Okay.
So let's you know, we're you know, I don't know when this episode will particularly air, but you know, before Christmas time. So maybe it's a message of what should we have gotten from 2023 that you know, that we need to clean up maybe, or we need to know before we head into 2024. Maybe something like that. It's not a very specific question, but
okay, I got it.
You got it?
Of year.
So this is one of the Jesus cards,
Wow.
and it is let go, trust God. You know the saying, let go,
Oh,
let
that's
God.
a good universal message.
Yeah, but on here, I know, right? But on here, I put let go, trust God. Same thing. This phrase advises releasing worries to a higher power, offering solace and guidance. Surrender brings peace, relieving stress, and affirming companionship in life's trials. Prayer, meditations, or recognizing forces beyond control facilitate this surrender, granting liberation and faith in a divine plan. So with that said, I want to share something with you all about this. Not too long ago, really, maybe 5 months ago, I had a situation that I couldn't do anything about. I literally hit the wall, but I did not like the way I was feeling. And so I said, I was talking to God, and I said, that's it. I'm surrendering it. It's yours. I can't live like this. So you need to do something about it. I'm handing it over. And it was literally a complete surrender. And surrendering, when you surrender, you will feel extremely vulnerable because you really feel powerless.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was it. I hand it right over. Well, immediately after, I felt the presence of Jesus literally in my heart. Now, I've heard people saying this, more religious people saying this in churches before, but I never could imagine what that felt like. And when I felt it, let me tell you, I felt it. There was no question. I literally said, Jesus, I feel you in my heart, you know. And I was very emotional, and I heard, yes, I'm here. And he took my conscious mind from a viewpoint where I saw myself in my house. And he said, look, And I could see myself. And he said, it's not really you. You're here with me. It's an experience that you're having. So it went literally back to being the observer, you see? It was another level of understanding that I think God wanted me to get about that topic, about observing. And it really changed a lot for me. It really took me to another level of understanding, which there's many on one topic, right? There's always another level of seeing people and knowing people and really staying out of judgment.
Mm-hmm.
It's just seeing each of us literally playing a part in this world that we live in. It's a play.
You know, as you read the card words there, I felt like it was almost emphasizing this whole conversation, right?
Yeah.
To be open, to let go,
Yeah.
to allow, to surrender, and to communicate.
Yeah.
You know, and oh my God, I think I just did our soulful stretch.
Yeah, that's the
So
soulful
yeah,
stretch.
no, we're at this time of where we, at the end of each episode, we do this thing called a soulful stretch. And that is something where we've changed a belief, where we've opened our mind.
Where we shifted, what's our takeaway?
Yeah.
It's
So
a
I
soulful
think
stretch.
for me from this conversation, which we could go for another hour for sure, is that whole letting go and knowing that you are loved, you are supported, and all you have to do is ask.
Yeah.
So that's my soulful stretch.
Well, once again, I found my soulful stretch from the very
Oh my gosh.
beginning, and it was about to be the observer. And because I've been having so many great discussions with Leslie. You know, she arrived here, she's in town visiting, and we're doing the podcast and whatnot. And I just always say, God, wouldn't it be nice if there was just take the judgment out of things? And it's like, ruins it a lot. So I kind of feel like, try to really have that goal to be more of the observer. And I don't think of myself as a judgy person, but
You react though.
What?
And that's a judgment. Your reaction.
Yeah, I kind of
sort of. That's
or
not
is
totally
it an
true.
opinion? I don't know.
Yeah,
I
no,
just
that's
to
not
really
true.
work at being more the observer because I feel like that's will serve my family, my students, anyone that I work with.
Do you have any soulful stretch? It doesn't have to be this conversation. It can be
I
something
do.
you're working
It
on.
is my new thing is, isn't it wonderful?
Oh,
Isn't it wonderful?
That's a good
Isn't
one
it
too.
wonderful?
Yeah, everything that you experience, isn't it wonderful?
Isn't it wonderful?
Isn't it wonderful?
That's why I feel about this conversation.
Yes, well, it is. It has been wonderful, and so I want to say thank you to Sheri. Thank you so
for
much.
having me.
Thank you.
This was fun.
Thank you to my sister Leslie for once again another great episode together. Thank you to Signal Fire Media. You guys are great. And to all of our listeners, we believe wellness starts within, and you can unlock unlimited possibilities with energetic healing. Embrace the woo, dabble, dive, or discover your next healing experience on the SoulShape app. We hope you've enjoyed this soulful stretch, and we encourage you to do something to raise your vibration today because the ripple effects are endless. So join us again and be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to the SoulShape podcast. Thank you.